Welcome back students. Let us start topic 2, lesson 2, module 1. The name of the lesson is Heckscher-Oholin theory. In the last lesson we discussed about Ricardian theory and here Heckscher-Oholin theory. The question can be explain the Heckscher-Oholin theory. Now what is this Heckscher-Oholin theory, or in short it is also called as HO theory. The drawbacks of the classical theory of international trade induced the Swedish economist Professor E. Heckscher to develop an alternative explanation of comparative advantage theory. His theory was further improved by his pupil Bertil Oholin, so it is known as Heckscher-Oholin HO theory. According to it, international trade is a special case of inter-regional trade. For factor mobility, which was the base for the separate explanation of international trade by classical economists, does not hold true, as factors are immobile or mobile even between two regions of the country, same country, and also between two countries. It is the difference in the degree rather than the nature. It explains, the HO theory explains new approach to comparative advantage on the basis of general rule theory. According to the theory, a nation will export the commodity whose production requires the intensive use of nation's relatively abundant and cheap factors, and import the commodity whose production requires intensive use of nation's relatively scarce and expensive factor. You have to give the same wording over here because that is what the theory, the core of the theory is. Next, we will discuss about the assumptions of the theory. There are two countries, each having two factors, labor and capital, and producing two commodities. There is a perfect competition in both commodity and factor markets. All the production functions are homogeneous. Factors are mobile within the country and immobile between countries. The two countries differ in factor supply. Each commodity differs in factor intensity. Full employment exists in both economies. Trade is free, no transport cost. So, on the basis of these assumptions, it can be stated that each commodity differs in factor intensity, and second, each country differs in factor endowments, leading to the differences in the factor prices. So it is necessary to understand factor intensity and factor abundance. These 2 points are important. We have to mention them. Let us discuss factor intensity. In our two country, two commodity model, the commodity Y is capital intensive. If the capital labor ratio, that is KL, K for capital, L for labor, in the production of Y is greater than KL used in the production of X. For example, if commodity Y requires 2 units of capital, that is 2K, and 2 units of labor, that is 2L, the capital labor ratio, KL ratio for producing commodity Y is 2 by 2, that is 1. For commodity X, requires input are called 1K and 4L, 1 capital and 4 labor. The capital labor ratio is K by L, that is 1 by 4. The ratio can be stated for the commodity Y, K by L, 2:2, that is 1. For the commodity X, K by L, that is 1 by 4. Here the commodity Y is capital intensive and X is labor intensive. It is shown in the table. You have to show the table like this. Capital or labor intensity is not measured in absolute terms but by the ratio. that is the units of capital per labor or units of labor per capital. In the example, K by L ratio for Y is 1 and for X is 1 by 4. Instead of that, if units of capital and labor used in the production of Y are 2K and 2L, where for X 3K and 12L, commodity Y still remains capital intensive, though X requires more capital in absolute terms, that is 3K. Capital used per labor in the production of X is 3K by 12L, that is 3 by 12, that is 1 by 4, whereas for Y it is 2K by 2L, that is 1. It is shown in the table. Factor intensity is measured by the factor ratios and not by the absolute unit. In the example of two commodities, two factors, two countries model, we say capital Y is commodity Y is capital intensive if the capital labor ratio of Y is greater than the ratio of X. To illustrate the point, let us say that production of 1 unit of Y requires 2 units of capital and 2 units of labor. The capital labor ratio is 2 by 2, that is 1. Similarly, the production of X requires 3K and 12L. So the labor capital ratio K by L of X is 3 by 12, that is 1 by 4. Here we say Y is capital intensive and X is labor intensive. In the diagram, the countries A and B are shown. In country A, 1 unit of Y. See, here, along with x-axis we are measuring labor, here we are measuring capital. So 1 unit of Y produced with the help of 1 unit of Y is produced with the help of, look in the diagram. Y is produced with the help of 2K and 2L. That is with the capital labor ratio of 1. Ratio is 1. X in A is produced by using 1K and 4L. That is capital labor ratio is 1 by 4. Similarly, in country B, Y is produced by using 4K, 4 capital and 1 labor. Look here, it comes like this, 1 labor. That is with the KL ratio of 4. The ratios are given by the slope in the ray from the origin of each commodity shown in the diagram. From K by L ratios, it can be understood that commodity Y is capital intensive and commodity X is labor intensive in both the countries. Country B uses more capital in the production of both commodities than country A, which uses more labor in the production of both Y and X. Now factor abundance is in physical term. Nations differs in factor endowments. Some have more natural resources, some have more labor and others have more capital. A given country's factor abundance can be defined either in physical terms or in terms of relative factor prices. In our two-country model, country 1 is capital abundant if in physical terms the ratio of capital amount, the ratio of total amount of capital, that is TK is total amount of capital, to the total amount of labor TL, that is TK by TL, in nation 1 is greater than nation 2. So that means TK1 by TL1 is greater than TK2 by TL2. Factor abundance in physical terms can be explained with the help of production possibility curve in the next page. In the diagram, country 1 is, see, look at the diagram. This is country 1 is capital abundant, so its production possibility curve is skewed towards the y-axis. The production possibility curve, look at here. And country 2 is labor abundant, so its production possibility curve is skewed to the x-axis. In our example of commodity Y is capital intensive and commodity X is labor intensive. Country 1 can produce OA of Y, that is CA quantity more, this much quantity more than country 2. Similarly, country 2 can produce OD of X, that is BD quantity more than country 1. Country 2 can produce more X, which is labor intensive because it is labor abundant country, and country 1 can produce more Y, which is capital intensive due to its abundant capital. The domestic price lines, that is PP1 and PP2 in countries 1 and 2, the point E and Q are respective equilibrium point E and Q are respective equilibrium points of production and consumption. The price lines P1 and P2 indicate that commodity Y is cheaper in country 1 and commodity X country 2, providing the basis for the trade. So trade is beneficial to both the countries. Now we will discuss about the limitations of the Heckscher-Oholin theory. What are the limitations? There are 6 limitations. Number 1, unrealistic assumptions. The theory is based on unrealistic assumptions like 2 countries, 2 commodities, etc. These assumptions make the theory unrealistic. Static in nature. Like Ricardian theory, HO model is also static in nature. Third, demand condition neglected. Like classical theory, HO theory also emphasizes on the supply condition, so demand conditions are totally neglected. Next, Leontief paradox. American economist W. Leontief empirically tested HO theory under USA conditions, and according to HO theory, USA being a capital abundant country must export capital intensive goods and import labor intensive goods rather than produce them at home. Next, other factors neglected. Only 2 factors are considered in the production function of HO theory. There are many other factors, different qualities of labor, so many other. They are totally neglected. And the last, commodity prices neglected. According to HO theory, commodity prices depend on factor prices. Therefore, the cause of international trade is the difference in factor prices. So these are the limitations of HO theory. Students, this is another very important questions. As I told you that in module 1 there are 4 lessons, and the first lesson is of Ricardian theory, second lesson is of HO theory, Heckscher-Oholin theory. This can be asked. Any of the theory is always there, either Heckscher-Oholin or Ricardian theory. So both the theories are very important, and in second lesson only one question, explain Heckscher-Oholin theory, HO theory. You have to give all the explanation with assumptions, then with table, with diagrams explanation, 2 points, factor abundance and factor intensity, and diagrams for both and the limitations. Here your entire answer will be over after giving all the explanation. Thank you very much.